So one of the questions I'm getting a lot, especially with regards to Akhand Diya, is about from women asking what to do when they get their menstruation. Like during the days of periods, how do you manage your Akhand Diya? So in this video, I'm just gonna talk about what I do and what my overall suggestion would be. So first of all, let me explain that I basically, in terms of the sadhana that I'm doing, I'm following Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, who has prescribed a whole bunch of yoga practices, and it is a very spiritual bent thing. So we do have Guru Puja and many other things. So my daily sadhana is from that. I do the Akhand Diya and everything, which I have very naturally just thought through how to do it. Sadhguru has of course encouraged it, but he has not set a method of how to do it, but I'm pretty much, he has given some vague thoughts on it on some of his videos. I watched that and then I just do my own stuff. You can look at my whole Akhand Diya videos to just understand how I have gone about it and how I have suggested other people can do in a very simple format. Now the point is that because my sadhana comes from Sadhguru, there is very few modifications happen during the time of periods. These are related to the yoga practices like Kapalbhati, which we don't do Kapalbhati during this time. We change to a certain breathing practice. That specific instruction has been given. What else changes? I don't think anything else changes. Hatha yoga, sometimes depending on how painful or not painful the periods are, depending on that the women can choose. I know women who do the entire Hatha yoga during the period. Some avoid doing certain things which are little troublesome for them. It is really very personal. I do not think, unless I'm forgetting something, I don't think there was any specific practice that was asked not to be done during our periods, except the Kapalbhati is the only one I can think of right now. We have our advanced meditation practices and everything. All of that can be done as is. Absolutely no restrictions have been given. Also the temples, like we go to the Isha temples, all the Isha temples are open and are completely accessible when we have our periods. So nothing really changes, except that if I am having a lot of pain or any such thing, then if I choose to take a rest from any of things, that is the only thing. So given that situation, what I do in my shrine in terms of putting a diya, doing the Guru Puja, putting vibhuti, everything remains the same. There is no change at all. As a result of which, when I am managing my Akhand Diya, I continue managing it without any change at all. And I have no problem with it. Absolutely, it makes total sense for me. It is because, again, I come from Sadhguru's line of thinking. That is my sadhana process. And as it happens, I have spent some time at the Dada Bhagwan Foundation also. I wouldn't say that I did any of their practices, but I just listened to some of their stuff because they teach a lot of Jain spirituality, which is useful for me because I have a Jain background and so I have a lot of questions and I want to understand Jainism with a certain depth, and it helped me to understand from them. As it happens, there also there are no restrictions when you have your periods. And I think in general, when you come to the spiritual path, these restrictions become much fewer. Religions, a lot of this has creeped in, but then it is very difficult to understand how much of it creeped in because of social reasons, because at one point of time it was probably just not practical for the woman to have a periods and be part of all these things due to various reasons, including reasons like the practical, they may not have had proper pads and stuff to keep the bleeding controlled. Wild animals might be around, so they can sense the blood very quickly. Things like that. Maybe there are also other dynamics which I can't even think, because now we are leading the modern lives and we may not even be able to understand what those women may have gone through. So I can't really understand at that point why certain restrictions might have made sense. But right now, this is where I am coming from, and I would just like to say that I do listen to Rajarshi Nandi a lot. I don't follow any of his practices, but I like what he speaks, and overall it makes sense to me, most of it. He has spoken about this in one of his videos. I will try and link it in the description. He spoke very well. What he said was that it is usually upon your own mind, that you should have faith in what you are doing and you should do it fully with a smooth thinking process. You should not have resistance towards it. Because if you are resisting your own sadhana, then how will you progress in it? So how you tackle these days in your sadhana process depends a lot on your own mindset, because how your background is and what has been taught to you. If you are coming from that thing where you are within your own mind, you have accepted that, oh no, I am impure during these days, or it will not be good for me to do these practices during these days, then you have to respect that thing that is there in your mind. So in which case you take your break and all with your Akhand Diya also and your practice also, if that thing is stuck in your mind. Or if the guru that you are following, the practice you are following has said that you should avoid these things during your periods, then go with that. Because you are following that particular thinking process. And if you are doing that, if you want to stay away from the Akhand Diya during these days, then the only option really is to get help from someone else. Because the Akhand Diya does require a little bit of upkeep. Even if you did your wick properly and you put the oil and everything is proper, you are a complete pro at it, then also max to max you can say 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours it will go on without any support. You will still need little bit of tinkering. So obviously 3 days it will never go on its own. Very rare case it may go on. I won't say never, maybe with some grace it may happen. So you take someone else's support, what else can be done? Hope that helps. Namaskaram.